Hello and welcome back to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Mayer, and today we have a fantastic episode lined up for you. Before we get started, don't forget to check out our website, themfgconnector.com, and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram for all the latest updates and some behind the scenes content. Hallie Haupt, the Director of Marketing at IQ Manufacturing, is joining us today. Hallie is a powerhouse in the marketing world, leading the charge in developing and executing dynamic marketing strategies that truly showcase the company's exceptional capabilities and value proposition. IQ Manufacturing serves various industries, including aerospace, aviation, defense, automotive, and automation, making Hallie's role challenging and incredibly impactful. In her role, Hallie collaborates with cross-functional teams of engineers, sales, and production staff to create engaging and informative content. Whether web pages, brochures, social media posts, videos, or graphics, Hallie ensures that every piece highlights IQ Manufacturing's products, services, and achievements in the absolute best possible light. What makes Hallie's work even more impressive is her ability to translate complex technical information into clear and compelling messages that resonate with diverse audiences. This skill is crucial in manufacturing, where precision and innovation are key. Hallie's strategic vision and creative approach have been instrumental in elevating IQ Manufacturing's brand presence across various platforms. Today, we'll explore Hallie's approach to marketing in the manufacturing sector, examine how she effectively communicates technical details and leverages storytelling to build strong connections with clients and stakeholders. We'll also discuss the innovative strategies she employs to stay ahead in such a competitive field and the importance of cross-functional collaboration in developing marketing content that resonates and drives results. So without further ado, let's welcome Hallie Haupt to the show. Hallie Haupt, welcome to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
Doing good, Jim. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be on.
Happy to have you. Happy to have you. It took a lot of mental gymnastics on my part to pronounce your name correctly. So I apologize if I slipped up. I don't think I did. I think I got it all.
No, you got it. And like I said, I answer to both now, so it goes either way. Hallie, whatever you want.
Hallie, I'll have it now. It'll be there forever.
So,
Yeah, it is. It's stuck. It's stuck with me. Okay, Hallie, tell us your story. How did you get to where you are now? How did you get into the manufacturing industry as a whole? Um, tell us how you came into this world of
okay.
manufacturing. Not this world. That's a whole different conversation.
I was gonna say, where do you want to start? No, I'm just
Yeah, it was a dark, stormy night.
right. Um, well, the start of my manufacturing career, I feel like is a lot like a lot of people's. It was totally by accident. Didn't really see myself getting here. I feel like I hear that a lot more now.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, but oh gosh, I don't even, how did it start? Okay, I was working for a community college in 2019. And I was doing some clerical work and stuff like that, working in the counseling office.
Hmm.
And COVID in 2020 shut down a lot of things, and schools were one of the first things to shut down.
Yeah.
So there was a period of time where I was at home for a while and they kept saying we were going to go back. It's only going to be 2 weeks. It's only going to be 4 weeks. And by the third month, I was like, I can't sit at home anymore. I'd already rewatched every series of TV shows. I'd already done all of the walking trails by the home that I was in at the time. It's just like, I can't do this anymore. So I decided to look around for some stuff, and I had some acquaintances in the industry who had a small shop and they needed help because COVID was going rampant. People were getting sick. Shops were
Yeah.
closing. They were tier two or two, three, I think. So they needed to stay open. So they needed help. And I went to work for them. I was with them for about a year and I didn't see much room for growth there. So I was like, I'm going to look somewhere else.
Sure.
And that's how I got here. I've been at IQ
Awesome.
almost 3.5 years.
And is your background in marketing? I mean, is that the world that you went to school for and all of that?
So I got a degree in media and communication arts. So I took like 2 or 3 marketing classes, but it wasn't like specific to marketing. A
Sure.
lot of it was like the media, graphic designing, took photo classes, video production, and like some drawing here and there. But yeah, that wasn't my forte in college. But so yeah, it wasn't specific to marketing, but I did learn some of the marketing there.
Got it. You've developed a lot of skills because, and it must have been over COVID that I first saw somebody like your post or something of that nature, right? Early COVID stages.
Yeah.
Um, how did you develop? Because you're really good at what you do for IQ. You've taken a place like IQ and you've made it in LinkedIn circles, in our circles,
Mhm.
literally a household name. So how did you translate those skills that you gained in school into doing what you do now?
So I think a lot of it is just like obviously I learned photo, I learned video, and I learned how to make like the graphics and stuff like that. And then like I said, the marketing, which is a little bit of like dabbling into websites and doing tracking some of the stuff that we're doing. And it's just all of that stuff was something I was familiar with. And I also have like a little photography sidekick going on right now. So I understood how to market for that
Yeah.
business and that side of it. So I just kind of carried all of that knowledge over from the side gig and college and was able to do somewhat similar stuff here in the manufacturing industry. Obviously, I was new to it and didn't know literally anything when I stepped into it. So there was a lot I had to learn. So it took a little bit, but I was able, once I learned that stuff, I was able to be like, hey, I can make a graphic design about this, or I can make a video about this and just like talk about it. So it kind of started off slow, but as I've like gotten to learn more things and stuff like that, it's just kind of shaped its way out, I guess, if that's the
Yeah.
correct way to explain that.
Eh, That's the way you explained it, so it's the correct way to explain it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no wrong answers on the Manufacturing Culture podcast.
There you go.
Um, so how was that journey to gain the knowledge about the industry, right? Was that more challenging than you anticipated when you first started?
I knew it was going to be a challenge because like anything that you aren't familiar with is always typically a challenge when you're learning it brand new.
Sure.
Um, I didn't know how specific and how much knowledge there was here in this industry. I've been here 4 years, which isn't long if you look at how many people have been here for like 30, 40 years, but
Yeah.
I'm still learning new things every day.
Yeah.
We had a thread gauge we needed on the floor, and I was like, what's that for? So it's like every day I'm learning something new. But when I first started, I was very intimidated because I was working with people who had been in the industry for a while and knew all the terms and knew all this stuff, and I just kind of came into it and I was like, okay, I'm going to get a notepad and go sit out by the machines and learn everything that I can. And just like being around it really helped because then what is it? Like, I like to see it and do it and touch it and do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I learn. I don't learn from
Very
like,
tactile learner.
yes. I'm not like
Awesome.
look at a YouTube video and learn that. Like I need to be there in person. So it was challenging at first, but I think being around it and having people there that encouraged me and would help like ask or answer the questions that I had, it was very helpful. And it's just kind of carried on through that entire journey.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Fantastic. So you're now director, right? So you're in a leadership position at IQ. You know, what are some challenges that leadership position has presented versus individual contributor type role?
Yeah, so I think just I'm pretty good at managing like myself. But sometimes it's hard to like spread stuff out towards other people. Like I'm very much I can do it this way quicker. I want to do it that way.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn like how to be like, hey, can you help me with this or can you do this? But it's a lot of fun. I like doing it. I do a lot of other stuff here as well. So like the marketing is like 50% of my day and then I do other stuff. But I would say in the marketing, like the social media aspect of what I do. I think one of the hardest things I've had to do here is try to direct the guys on the floor to be in my videos.
Oh, I can see that. I can see that. Most of shop floor folks, they just want to come in and get their job done, right? They
Like,
they're
get out of
not
my
looking. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Our
I can
team's
see that.
really our team's really great here. We've got a few guys who have no problem with it now, but when I first started, I was still learning names and learning roles, so it was very intimidating. I was like, I don't know what they do, and I don't know what questions to ask. And now, like I posted a video the other day, and one of my coworkers was like, "Are you serious? We're doing this right now?" I'm like, "Sit in your chair. I'm getting the video."
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So marketing's only 50%. What makes up the other 50%?
I do all of the material purchasing. I help with quoting for our customers. I'm usually the person you're going to hear from if you are a machine shop that we outsource work from, and I help with documentation. So, a lot of different hats.
Dang,
Yeah,
man.
keeps me
There's
busy.
Yeah, but there's not one title that encompasses all of those things.
No, not generally. I help where
Wow.
I'm needed.
Yeah, I love it. Well, because that just gives you that knowledge because of the way you learn, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to increase that base of knowledge.
Oh yeah.
Um, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, in that kind of a role, and this industry, right? We're a fast-paced industry. It's constantly evolving. How do you stay motivated and grow in your role and in that dynamic environment that you've got there?
Sometimes it's hard, honestly. Like this week, I like there's a lot of ups and downs. This week, I was like, I don't want to be on LinkedIn anymore. I was like, I don't want to post anymore. I don't want to like be active on it. Sometimes it just gets to be a lot.
Yeah,
Um, and where stuff like purchasing our material and getting documentation out and doing quotes, like that's definitely more important for the company. So sometimes I'm like, have to balance that, like set aside like time to do this and only do that. Which I have been doing. My shifts recently like changed, so I'm here earlier than some people. So it's nice to be able to sit down and focus on like one
yeah.
aspect of it, and then the rest of my day is the rest of it. But it's hard. I've really had to learn how to balance that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, what's a project or yeah, what's a project or I guess an accomplishment, right, that you've had at IQ that has been the most memorable so far in your time there?
An accomplishment. I feel like it's my whole career, honestly. Is that cheesy? Like
No,
I've
that's
been able to
bitchin'.
move I've been able to move up so quickly, and they're so encouraging, and they let me do like all of these podcasts and go
Right?
to the shows and talk to people there. And I think that just like the whole from where I started when I got here at IQ to where I am now is just very like good to look back on. And
Sure.
definitely an accomplishment. And I'm excited to see where it goes in the next few years.
Okay. Awesome. So this is coming out right before IMTS. Um, Haley, what are you going to IMTS first of all?
Yes. Yep.
What are you most looking forward to about IMTS?
Obviously, the new technology and the applications are always really cool to see. I like becoming more familiar with stuff in the industry so I can talk about it and know what I'm
Right.
talking about. But I really do just love going and seeing everyone. Like
Right?
I remember last time TS I saw Emily Wilkins and she like ran up and hugged me and I was like, I love this little community of people.
It's really quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
crazy. I feel like I've gained lifelong friendships here with people that aren't even in my state.
right. And that we may not talk to on a regular basis, right?
Right.
Like um I've started having more frequent conversations with Emily just because she and I are, in the same boat, solo things that we're
Yeah.
doing, different versions of it, but we talk a little bit more often. But I don't talk to Drew or Chris or any of those guys all the time. But when I talk to them, it's like we're able to pick up right where we left off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you saw each other yesterday. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Speaking of that, collaboration, right? It's a massive part of this industry, a massive part of the jobs that you do. Talk to us how the collaboration works at IQ. I mean, is this an organization that tends to work well together to accomplish things?
Like internally?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a very good workflow coming from and seeing how other shops work. It's really refreshing to come in here and see how we all work together. Of course, some of us have bad days and we want to be quiet and not like talk to each other. That's
Right.
inevitable. But we have a good like flow of how the system goes and who does what, and it just makes the job easier. It makes our parts flow through the shop easier. It just makes everything overall like great. Like it's good to be in an environment where everyone can connect and talk and get the job done while also doing what we all have to do.
Yeah, I get that. I
Mhm.
get that. All right, let's go back to your journey. What advice would you give younger people who are? I mean, you're young. You're able to talk to younger people a lot better than this gray beard is, right? Um, what advice would you give somebody who's young, who may be in that high school or recently graduated stage of life?
Mhm.
Um, what advice would you give them?
Um, I would probably tell them to. Are you talking like someone who wants to come into this industry or just anyone?
Let's. I want to know both from you.
Okay.
So let's start with just anybody, right? And then you can talk about somebody who's considering manufacturing as a career after that, if they're different answers.
Okay. I think one of the pieces of advice I would give anyone is don't stay in your bubble, like your comfort zone. One of the worst things I did for myself from ages 17 to 20 was stay in that bubble because it was where I was comfortable and it was something that I knew. And once I got out of that, I feel like I just kind of flourished individually, professionally. It was just a really remarkable thing to see because I was this shy little girl who went to a small high school, graduated with 46 people, and now I could barely have a conversation with someone. Like you asked me to go get sweet and sour sauce at McDonald's, I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't do it.
You
And
were
now
not
everyone
shy?
does. I was
No
so shy.
way.
Yes. And now I'm
Wow.
sitting here doing these podcasts and talking to people, and I can have a conversation and keep it going with anyone. So I think that staying where you're comfortable is not benefiting you, and that's would be the first piece of advice I'd give anyone.
Yeah, awesome. What about somebody who's looking at getting into the industry? And I was going to throw, a young woman looking, but I think you can give advice to anybody regardless of gender. So, what
Mhm.
advice would you give to a young person looking to get into manufacturing?
I would say don't give up. I feel like there's a lot of roadblocks that people like mentally put in front of them before they move forward with stuff.
Hmm.
And this industry has a lot of potential. I know people who are young making lots of money here, whether you're an engineer, a machinist, doing marketing. There's so many like roles you can have here. And there, I really do truly feel like there's a place for everyone, no matter what your skill set is. So don't give up, keep looking, and don't count manufacturing out because I know there's a lot of stereotypes around the industry, and it's just being here, it's just not that anymore.
Right. Right. So, looking back to when you were younger, right? Was there a perception of what manufacturing was before you joined the industry? Even right before you joined, right? Right before you joined that first shop. What kind
Mhm.
of perceptions did you have that you had to kind of get over?
So I had some family members or some close family friends who had a shop, and I couldn't tell you what the name of it was or what they did. But I just remember being like 8 years old and walking into this like shop, and my parents would be like, "Stay behind this line. It's super dirty in here. You don't want to get hurt." And I feel like that's a
Interesting.
stereotype that a lot of people are like, "You don't want to go into that. It's dirty." And I'm like, "Yes, some shops can be dirty, but there's shops out there that are not." Like, and it's like I don't know, I just feel like that's such a small area of it to be holding yourself back from something. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
I like it. I like it. So let's talk a little bit more about your like technical writing capabilities
Mhm.
because that's something that you're really good at. How are you able to translate super complex technical information that you're given
Mhm.
into something that you're then able to put on LinkedIn and have somebody who's maybe not as technical understand what you're trying to communicate?
So I think coming from the background where I didn't know anything in the industry, I wanted things to be easily explainable because when I was in here learning that, I needed to be like not dumbed down, but I needed it to be in simpler terms. Like when I first got here to IQ, we have wire EDMs out there,
Yeah,
and I didn't know a single thing about it. And our shop owner was like explaining to me super technical stuff, and I was like, I don't know what any of that shit means.
yeah,
And so he sits down and he goes, "Well, this is kind of like if you think of a cookie cutter," and
sure.
that's how he explained that to me. And I was like, "That's a really good analogy because I know what a cookie cutter is. I know how that works. I can." Relate that into my head. And now that's what I think of when I see wires. So
That's
I
cool.
felt like with the LinkedIn content for someone who's not like familiar with that stuff, that was an easy way to do that. Like make an analogy, make it simpler terms, but still get the point across and still give them the information they need.
Yeah, I love that. That's
Hmm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, so tell us about your ability to tell stories too, because that's something that you do really well in the content that you create
Mhm.
is you're able to really tell a story. And it's something that I look up to because again, I'm not at your caliber. I'm not at the Emily's caliber. I do marketing stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm not as quite effective. But I look at some of the stories that you're able to tell in your posts, in your videos, in the things that you create.
Mhm.
Is that something that just comes naturally to you?
I don't know. I think I would say yes. I'm not sure. I used to be, when I was younger, I used to like write really well thought out things. Like I remember when it was for like birthday posts on Facebook for like my parents or whatever, my mom's like, "You're really well spoken for your age." So I would like create
For
that
your age.
for my age. You're like, "Thanks, mom." But it was like stories.
Yeah,
So I would just, I don't know, I took that with me along the way. And I know that on social media, some people aren't going to want to have the mundane, like repetitive stuff like we do this, we do that. So it's like when I'm creating a personal brand, I want it to be personal, but I want it to reflect back on the
sure.
company or
Yeah,
industry as a whole. So I just, and it takes a while. Like I can sit there for an hour and think of how I'm going to relate IQ to the post that I want to make. And it can be hard sometimes, but
yeah.
it's just, I guess it would come naturally to some people, but I feel like sometimes you could definitely do it. You have enough experience and the people you talk to, like you could definitely make some storytelling.
For me, I just like asking questions to give other people the ability to tell their story, right?
Okay,
So
there you go.
that's my role in this is I'm not the storyteller, I'm the guy who tees up the storyteller.
There
Does
you
that
go.
make sense?
Yeah, and you're good at it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I have found something that I love. Like
Yeah.
I when I started this, I was so like annoyed that I was even doing it. I'm the most reluctant podcaster maybe ever that has stuck with it for however many episodes, 80 plus at this point. Um, but I enjoy it. Like this is a lot of fun to just
Yeah.
talk to people and again, not tell their story for them, but give them the opportunity to tell their story. To me, it's the coolest thing that I could do. Right.
Yeah.
Um, so, uh, last like marketing centric question, I guess, is you work with various roles of people there, right? Like
Mhm.
you have to pull in super engineering type minds. You have to pull in uh, the doers, the makers, right?
Mhm.
You have to pull in more analytical minds. You have to pull in a lot of different perspectives to put out the type of content that IQ puts out there.
Mhm.
Tell us about that. I mean, how does that work?
I think having a team that works well together and all gets along really helps with that because I'm able to like sit out there with them and like learn something. If I have a question, they're going to answer it. If I'm stumbling, because I do that, if I stumble making a post, I can go out there and be like, "Hey, what is this we're doing and why are we doing it? Can you explain that to me?" So I think having that team dynamic really helps me, and learning from them also helps. Like the different
Awesome.
roles that I play here help me make those posts, which I'm super grateful for. Like with the materials that I order, it's like I wouldn't know this. if I didn't order the materials.
Right.
Like that
Sure.
type of knowledge and having the people here internally who help me do that is really beneficial for the marketing aspect of it as a whole.
Yeah. Subject matter expertise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you also do like internal comms for IQ? So I mean your role in marketing, right, is more outward facing. Do
Mhm.
you do some of the inward facing marketing and writing of those kinds of comms and talking about the culture and talking about those kinds of things as well?
Sometimes our CEO has a background in marketing, so he'll do a lot of that stuff, but I'll help here and there with that. And then we have outsourced work for people who come in and help us too. So it's I dabble in there and I'm helping them, but it's not all me doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got it. So then what is the culture like at IQ? I mean, is it a great place to work? Tell us more.
Yeah, it's energetic here, which I like. Like not everyone's like I've walked into a few shops where it's like everyone's mopey and their heads are down and headphones are in and it's like I walk out on the shop and I'm able to have a conversation. We're able to laugh. We're able to joke. We send TikToks back and forth to each other. We'll send Teams gifts to each other. It's fun. I get along with everyone, and I think that that's a good environment to be in because there's a lot of places that it doesn't feel like that. It's
Yeah.
just a negative or not so fun environment, and I'm grateful to have that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it seems, I mean, just in the posts that I have seen since I've been following you, it does seem like IQ is just a great place to work. And so you're able to share that experience, I guess, right? In your posts through the IQ posts, things of that nature. It just seems like a very inviting, innovative type environment.
Yeah, it definitely is. And like I said, I'm super grateful to be here. And we've had people, like we have people on the floor right now who are employees who have followed us and they come and work here because they see the environment online. So I think that's cool too.
Wow. All right. Well, are you guys hiring? Let's put a little plug in
I
on the
mean,
podcast here.
always.
Great answer. Great answer. Always. Yes.
Right?
I get that.
Always looking for people,
Yeah.
machinists.
Yeah. Got it. Sounds good. What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of this industry, right? So, uh, and I'll ask for you more personally about your career in a second, but like as an industry, what excites you looking ahead to the future of this industry?
I feel like this is so like 50-50 on people's opinions, but I'm really excited to see how much more automation develops.
No,
Like
I
that's
agree.
one of
Yeah.
the things that always I'm always drawn to at shows, events, it's the automation. So I'm excited to see what that does, what it can do, and how it evolves over the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about for your career? What are you looking forward to achieving next? Like short period of time, you've come out with a bang. You've been promoted. You're
Mhm.
at this director level, right? You're crushing it in all. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that
You're
is.
crushing it. But what's next for you? What's that next step?
Oh geez. Hopefully I'm still here. That's what every boss wants to hear, right?
Yes, every boss does want to hear this.
Like,
Um,
I just hope I continue growing in the field and
yeah,
moving up and having the opportunities that I already have here times 10. Like this company's not, we're not going to settle for being small forever. I know our owners are like, we don't want to be a small mom and pop shop. We want to grow. We want to be big. So the opportunities when that happens are endless. And I just can't wait to be there for
that's
that.
awesome.
Hmm.
That's awesome. How many people work there? I can't believe I didn't ask you that.
We have 26 of us, I think. We have a day shift and a night shift.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
Fantastic. You'll get there. IQ coming out with a bang.
Yeah.
Um, Haley, as we wrap up here, what haven't I asked you that you want to share with the audience? Anything at all?
Jeez. That's a super on the spot question. I don't even know. I feel like you've asked me everything.
It could be, what kind of. I mean, Nush. When I asked her that question, she said, "You haven't asked me what car I drive." Right. So the I interviewed a woman this morning, and she said, uh, you haven't asked me what is my favorite kind of cake to bake, right? Like, so
I think
uh,
so.
yeah, so literally anything that is Haley, what haven't I asked you?
I feel like my whole life is just working, so it's like I
Is that
don't know.
it? What else do you do, Haley? What do you do outside work? Well, I'll make this easy. What do you do outside of IQ?
Well, I have the photography business, so
Okay.
that's one thing, and then I am always outside doing something, riding a bike, running, walking. I'm always outside, and like
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. There you go. So what? So you, yeah, you hike. I heard that earlier, right? So you bike. What's your favorite outdoor activity?
Right now, probably biking.
Okay.
A
Like
lot of
mountain
fun.
bike or like road bike?
Well, a little bit of both. I live near a park that has a lot of trails like through the trees and stuff going like up and down, which I think that's mountain biking, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do that a lot. I took like a 10-mile bike ride yesterday through those like woods. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Good for
it's fun.
you.
I like it.
That's cool. All right,
Yeah,
that's my knowledge about Haley for the day. I
there we go.
appreciate it. Haley, thank you so much for joining us today. This was awesome. Just hearing about your journey, your experiences, your insights into the industry was awesome. I don't have any other word. You are evidently very passionate and dedicated to this industry, and again, I appreciate you sharing your story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the time. I really appreciate it, and it's great to talk with you. I know we haven't met in person yet, but we will one day.
IMTS, baby. Let's
There
do
we
it.
go.
All
We'll look at
right.
someone will have an after party thing, whatever we call them, meetups.
Okay. So by the time this comes out, this
There
will
already
be
will.
official. So uh, I'm doing an MFG mic drop, manufacturing mic drop, karaoke night. Ann Wyatt, Chris Lukey, Megan, Drew. We're all like putting our powers together to do
Mhm.
this karaoke night Wednesday, the 11th of September from 9 to midnight. You'll definitely get an invite.
I'll be up
Would
there
love
with
to
a
have you.
microphone.
I
So
cannot wait. I'm trying to get the place to let me host because that's what I used to do in a past life is
okay.
host a karaoke night.
Hey,
So I would love to be the guy up there. I don't know if they'll let me do that or not,
they
but
better. I'll fight
hey,
for you. Send them
uh,
my way.
digital high five. I love it. All right. Thanks again to our listeners. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Haley's experiences highlight the dynamic and evolving nature of this industry, and her journey offers so many valuable lessons for all of us. Please remember to check out the websites at either manufacturingculturepodcast.com or the mfgconnector.com. For all the updates that we put out there. Also, follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok too. I don't know how long that'll be around. It's tough for me to keep up with TikTok. For behind the scenes content and latest news. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please, please, please share it with your friends, your colleagues, your grandma, anyone interested in this fascinating industry. I encourage you to rate and review the show on whatever platform you listen to it on, because when you rate and review the show, that rockets us up the charts and more people are able to find us so we can bring you more great content like you heard today. So thank you for tuning in to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. Until next time, keep celebrating the incredible stories and innovations of this industry that we all know and love so much. Have a great day. Keep making things.